This is the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket. And we've got some Husker football to talk. Of course, Mickey Joseph had his press conference today, so the players spoke as well. So we'll work on getting that stuff to you throughout the day. But of course, while we don't have the direct audio, we can talk about what was said and kind of the newsworthy items there. A lot of questions have been around Mark Whipple as of late. And today, Coach Mickey Joseph said he's dealing with some health issues, but he's doing okay.
He's good to go.
Good to go.
He'll be coaching the next game.
Yeah.
He'll be out there.
So it's very interesting to see how that kind of plays out moving forward. Quentin Newsome, Luke Reimer, day to day. Those are two of your better. I mean, those are two of your better defenders.
Luke Reimer has kind of evolved back into what he was last year. Yeah. The tackling machine just everywhere all at once. And I don't know when it happened, but I do remember a play in the third quarter where he tackled the running back. The running back was going to the right, changed the direction, came to the left. Luke Reimer caught him after the first down and just like landed on top of him, kind of rolled off and was like holding his ribs. Again, we were not told anything about an injury, about what the injury could be. But if I'm going to guess, which I am, I would say it's that.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. If I had to say who's the best defensive player on the team right now, who do you think it is? Would you go with Reimer?
Has Quentin Newsome given up a touchdown yet?
I'm not sure.
Because I know that was a thing for a while. He hadn't given up a touchdown yet. So I don't know. Like it's hard to decide because like Garrett Nelson had himself a good game. O'Shawn Mathis, even without the sacks, has been doing really well, especially that tip pass at the end. Just fantastic. Dude has ups. He's been getting pressure on the quarterbacks, not getting the sacks. The linebackers, Luke Reimer's been fantastic. Henrich has missed some time with an injury. The corners, I mean, Tommy Hill's now switched over to receiver. Malcolm Hartzog, 2 games in, has done pretty well. Quentin Newsome, again, don't know if he's given up a touchdown yet. If he hasn't, it's probably him. The safeties have been doing pretty well. I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say?
I just wanted you to pick one out.
At least you gave some shout-outs. All of them. They're all doing really well.
They're all the best player.
Starting, if we just start from the Indiana game, they're all the best player.
Yeah, it's fascinating too to see because we were looking at it during
who would the text line pick? 402-464-5685. You had to pick a defender. Who is your best defender so far this season?
And I think I'd go with Luke Reimer. I think Garrett Nelson would be right up there. I mean, he's had 3.5 sacks the last 2 games.
I believe so.
Including the very one that probably doesn't get talked about enough. The one before the half, which took Rutgers out of field goal range, which ultimately that field goal would have maybe made the difference. So big sack there before the half. I think he's really coming on, and I don't really care at this point. I think that, you're halfway through the season. I don't need O'Shawn to have 12 sacks anymore. I just need O'Shawn to apply the pressure. Maybe
he's making a difference. I mean, he's applying pressure. He's getting a lot of tackles, actually.
Yeah.
And he's getting his hands up. I think he has 2 or 3 tip passes already this season. So he's getting his hands up when he doesn't get to the quarterback. Again, he's applying pressure. He may not be getting the sacks, but he's forcing the quarterback out of the pocket into the waiting arms of somebody else.
And but my point is, though, if Garrett Nelson ends up being the guy that's getting all the sacks, that's fine, right? Altogether, you just want somebody to apply the pressure. And that was kind of the thought with O'Shawn, too, all along, was if you bring him in, it just makes the group kind of more daunting. And maybe he's the primary focus of that. Maybe Garrett Nelson becomes the primary focus of that. I don't care. I just want some pressure applied because that's been a big problem for Nebraska's defenses over the years. And I feel like they're kind of, they're kind of looking up in that direction.
The defensive line is actually getting more push lately in these last few games, with Ty Robinson and Devin Drew, Stephon Wynn, and Colton Feast. They've actually been getting a decent amount of push against offensive lines. Again, it's 2 games. It's Indiana and Rutgers, but still, you're getting some push against Big Ten offensive linemen, and it's making a difference. I mean, Colton Feast, Ty Robinson both have 1 sack in the last 2 games, 1 sack apiece in the last 2 games, which is more than you can say for the first couple of games. So it's the improvement to the defensive line as a whole has been really evident after Bill Bush took over as defensive coordinator. And again, I don't really know what the difference was, if it really was just getting set, but it seems as if they've gotten stronger and they're actually pushing offensive lines back. I don't know what the difference the coach makes in that, but that's what it seems to me ever since Bill Bush took over.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it has made a major difference, one way or the other. So I'm interested too. So we'll see if the black shirts get taken, get put back
handed
on
back
them
out?
here? I mean, after the Purdue a victory, I would think so. Purdue, by the way, a heavy favorite. Did that surprise you at all when you saw the opening lines?
No, not really. Like this will be, since Mickey took over, not counting Oklahoma, this will be the first good team, good offense, good defense team that you face. Indiana, not great defensively, okay offensively. Rutgers, terrible offensively, really good defensively. This will be the first team that you face that is good on both sides of the ball. All three, I believe, their special teams are pretty solid as well. So this will be the first good team that you face. So them opening up, especially after wins over Minnesota and who did they play last? Maryland. Maryland, a really good team, one of the surprises out east. After those two victories, I would say that Purdue probably enters as one of the favorites to win the Big Ten West. So being a 2-touchdown favorite over Nebraska, who outside of the last two games was struggling mightily, not that surprising, but I believe it'll drop. It'll probably be single digits by the time the game kicks off. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, I don't know, like 8.5 by the time the game kicks off.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting that, like you just said, they've just coming off their back-to-back wins, or more impressive than any wins Nebraska has. So they kind of got momentum going there. Also, their losses are somewhat impressive as well. Syracuse and Penn State have not lost themselves yet, and Purdue was in both those games. I mean, they had a chance within the final 2 minutes to win those games. Just ultimately didn't get it done. So Purdue, I think they
have their one weird win against FAU that was really close.
Right.
Probably shouldn't have been that close, but they followed it up with a win against Minnesota. So
yeah, and Aiden O'Connell was out of that FAU
yes.
game, I believe. So that certainly will put a damper on your team. But I expect a good game. I expect a team. I mean, if it gets out of hand one way, I would expect that to be on Purdue's side. So I can kind of understand the larger spread.
Are we expecting fireworks or another defensive battle?
I think that you're going to have to at least probably be somewhere in between, like a 31-27 type of game. Hopefully, I love the progress that this team's made. I think that Purdue is going to give them considerably more of a challenge on the defensive side of the ball. And then Purdue's defense, they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season. They're the Big Ten, and we were looking this up during the break. The remaining 6 opponents for Nebraska, they're all top 30 in defense.
Yeah, that's not fun.
That's not fun. It's that, and it's going to be difficult. That's the step up that we're talking about. And as it pertains to Mickey Joseph and his opportunity at the job, I think it is a good opportunity because anymore, I mean, the Rutgers win, the Indiana win, we can kind of just say, well, yeah, it's a great job. We're glad things are back on track, but nobody's really losing their mind and going overboard. Most people still want to see what Mickey Joseph can do against the better opponents. I've said this and I'll keep saying it. I don't think that there is a game left that you're not impressed if Mickey Joseph in Nebraska wins. Typically Illinois might not do that for you. This year, I think they do. Minnesota, they've got to be able to do that for you. Wisconsin and Iowa, if anybody, are falling off what you typically would say is what they usually are. But you've got long streaks of losses to them. So, that's just a huge program thing. I don't care who the next coach is.
Wisconsin,
it'd be great to have a win against one of those programs.
Wisconsin would be the least impressive. Like this is how weird the Big Ten West is. Wisconsin would be your least impressive win. If you win all the games, Wisconsin would be your least impressive win in terms of how good the team is. So you were just talking about the defense. I just wanted to look at it one more time to make myself sad. So we're talking total defense here. So if you guys want to come for me, whatever. Minnesota number 1, Illinois number 3, Michigan number 5, Iowa number 9, Rutgers moved up to 14, Wisconsin number 26, Purdue number 28. Those are the remaining 6 teams on your schedule are all within the top 30. Purdue is the lowest ranked at 28. The 28th ranked defense in the nation.
That's pretty darn good. How long has it been since Nebraska's been in that category?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was before you fired Mark Banker. It was like
a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Bring in Bob Diaco and have the whole athletic department come and watch how he coaches because he's so good at it.
And then let's just for poops and giggles, we'll just say Nebraska wins the Big Ten West. you got to face the number 7th ranked defense in Ohio State more than likely.
Oh, you're just assuming Ohio State gets there.
Yeah, I am. I mean, Michigan has the 5th ranked, so you'll face Michigan again. I don't know.
Where's Penn State at?
Penn State. Let's see. Penn State's defense is not in the top 50.
Yeah,
so
go.
There you go. So
There's
if you face Penn State, there you go. That would be the worst defense that you face.
So that's the route for Nebraska.
There you go. Just beat everybody and then face Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, and then you'll get yourself a nice bad defense.
By the way, we asked you guys who you thought was the most impressive defender. I think this is kind of funny because we've got a few different answers. Dusty says Luke, and I don't think it's close. Talk about Luke Reimer. Jared in Wisconsin says Garrett Nelson. He's been the most consistent all season. Tiny Pig goes, I'd go with Newsome. So, it's the same type of idea. There's no lone standout that's going to be overwhelmingly the choice, but, 3 different checks, 3 different ideas there. And I think that's both. It can be seen as a bad thing and a good thing because you kind of at least at some point you do want to stand out. You want a few guys to kind of play at that all Big Ten level, which is going to be difficult considering all the good defenses in the Big Ten. But at least that's what the improvement's been. It's not been overwhelmingly one guy kind of leading the way and then you hope he doesn't go down or something. It's kind of a group effort to get better.
Also, I lied. Penn State's 38th.
Oh, 30.
I just missed them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that would be out of the remaining 6. That would be the worst defense that you face.
6153 text line says, I think Iowa would be the least impressive win. Wisconsin looks like they may be rebounding under Leonard. Iowa still looks pedestrian. So
yeah, probably depending on if Jim Leonard is able to turn it around at Wisconsin, then Iowa would be your least impressive. But I'm just saying currently as it stands, Wisconsin would be your least impressive win.
And Greg and Lincoln points out some of the defensive numbers are because they play some pretty horrific offense in the Big Ten. That also plays into it. Without a doubt.
Look at total offense. I can look at total offense.
How many top 30 total offenses are there in the Big Ten? Because
that's going to be a scary list.
Well, the bigger thing is how many of the top. I guess the bottom, maybe the bottom 30, bottom 50 offenses are in the Big Ten because there are a few of them that hover around there.
Minnesota's 13th in total offense.
Yeah.
Ohio State's number 2, in case anybody was wondering. Didn't really.
And now the betting favorite to win the championship.
Yep. Maryland 26th, Michigan 29th. So there's 4.
There's some teams.
Penn State 38th.
Again.
There you go. Yeah, they're a solid 38 in everything. But I mean, the offenses aren't the greatest in the Big Ten. Purdue's 57th, Nebraska's 61st.
Yeah.
So,
isn't that kind of weird too? Because you feel like the offense has at least been
Wisconsin's 65th. Okay, this list is wrong.
This is just wrong.
Illinois is 67th. Northwestern's 76th. Yeah, this list is so wrong. I don't know what this is. This is total offense, but this is not. This is not right.
Is that from this season?
It is. Northwestern should not be up there. Well, if I was not last, I was last. Okay, this list is right.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Well, that could be in the last few
Never mind.
years as well.
I agree. The list is right.
Yeah, I mean they're and let's not sugarcoat it either. Rutgers is one of those teams. I mean,
they were down.
They're an awful offense, playing musical chairs at quarterback every week.
But you held them to 13 points. So
yeah, and pretty much on especially on that after that interception was on the short field too. So I still am I feel like it felt like that at the time, and maybe. It kind of played out that way that each one of those, when you hold them to a field goal instead of a touchdown, it just felt like, man, if you're more than 2 possessions away, you might be out of the game. And it ended up being true.
When they got to 13, it was with the way the offense was playing. I was slightly terrified. I was like, you might get shut out. I was like, they might get a touchdown, but I can't see anything much more than that. And then, the big interception by Miles Farm. I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. We got this. It's not pretty, but it'll work.
It was not pretty, but the Big Ten's not pretty. You're going to have to win some ugly games. Nebraska getting some reps doing that this past week. Hopefully can get it done against Purdue coming up.